a podcast to honor the gods.
This better come with a sacrifice.
Dave X Media.
I'm Christina Kann.
And I'm Leela Hilton.
And this is Burn Before Reading, the podcast about literature.
We're here to examine the terrible writing we did when we were younger and talk about other cringy literary topics. Tina, it's an Ussie episode.
Oh my god,
Just
I really love the
two of
Ussies.
us.
I think we just get each other, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like maybe we should work together.
Oh my god.
Tina, what's been cringing you out this week?
I have a pretty good cringy thing this week. Momentary cringe. I was at my dentist, Murray & Kuhn. If you live in the Richmond, Virginia area, that's my dentist, and they're great, and I love them. I was in the chair getting my teeth cleaned, as one does. And, you know, the cleaning chairs are in these little, cubbies, kind of. And so, know, to create a semblance of privacy among the patients, even though it's all in one big room. And so I'm, kind of upside down. If someone, walks into my zone, I'm, upside down to them because I'm laying. So I was getting my teeth cleaned, and the dentist was there looking at my teeth, and the dental assistant was, talking. And this other dental assistant came up and was like, "Hey, how are you doing?" And I was like, "Oh my God, I'm doing great. Good to see you." Because all of the dental assistants here are so nice and cute all the time. And I have a history of them remembering details about me that I would never remember about someone that I only saw once every 6 months. They remember, they're like, "Oh my God, how's the publishing going?" "Oh, how's that book you were writing?" I'm like, okay. So this girl came up and was like, "Hey, how's it going?" And I was like, "Oh my God, going great, thanks." And she was like, "I was thinking about you the other day because I saw this cool thing about this do-it-yourself bookshelf on Facebook." And I thought, "Oh, Christina would like that." And I was like, "Ooh, that is really specific of you, random dental assistant." And she was like, I was like, "Oh, that sounds so cool." And she said, "Yeah, I was going to send it to you on Facebook. Maybe I can find it again." And I was like, "Facebook?" And finally the dentist, I was looking at this girl and I was like, but her face was upside down in my vision. Yes. And finally the dentist said, "How do you two know each other?" And this woman said, "Oh, she's friends with Josh. This is Josh's old roommate and best friend, Kelsey, whom I've met several times." God. But because she was in scrubs in an unexpected context and upside down, I was looking right at her face and I could not figure out who she was. And as soon as she said Kelsey, or she's Josh's friend, I was like, "Oh my God, Kelsey, obviously that's you." It all makes sense now. But you know me, because I like to embarrass myself. I was like, literally didn't know who was talking to me if you were upside down. So anyway, I found that very funny. I'm glad I knew her because I was like, this is a step too far even for the kindly dental assistants at Murray & Kuhn's.
Also do it on Facebook and go "Oh, I don't
you don't know that I need that. Yeah. Leela, what is cringing you out this week?
All I can really think of is, Jason's is out of town for work a lot these days. He has to go on these stupid 2-night trips. And he's out of town right now, but bad guys, don't come to my house. I'm just kidding. My parents are home. But oh yeah, this isn't airing live. But anyway, I was sitting on the couch reading and then also watching John Tucker Must Die, like you do. Sure. And then, I grew weary and I shut my eyes for a little bit. And then when I woke up, it was 6:45 in the morning. And
oh my God,
I had slept on the couch all night. So of course, immediately I sat up and my neck was like, "What the fuck, bitch? Why?"
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah. So
I have this weird, calling it a phobia is really dramatic, but I have this weird fear of falling asleep on the couch like that. I kind of refuse to let it happen. And I don't know why I'm so obsessed with it, but I really just can't dream of falling asleep on the couch. Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
Isn't that a weird thing to be like kind of afraid of?
Yeah, I know. I get it though. Like, I just, I don't know. It happens to me a lot, but typically Jason at some point will wake me up and like I'll go to bed. So,
Sure.
Anyway, I can't
Well,
be
sorry
trusted.
about your neck.
Yeah, it's okay. I went to PT today and she like worked on it a little bit. So
Fix it.
Yeah.
I remember that one time you fell asleep on the couch and got chocolate everywhere.
Oh my God, yeah, I forgot about that.
I remember.
On my white couch.
So today, Leela, I'm going to give you the opportunity to roast a novel I started writing. I'm going to guess when I was maybe 14 or 15.
Okay.
Just a guess. I was writing a little more advanced stuff by the time, and by advanced, I just mean like there was plot and like direction. This one probably has plot too. Anyway, okay, I'm just going to let it speak for itself.
Okay.
It is called bracket, insert your own title here and bracket, because I went through a phase of thinking that was like a really cool thing to name somebody or a work,
Yes. Oh gosh, what font choice is this?
What font choice is this? That's a great question. I don't here actually. If I download it and open it in Word, it'll probably tell me. Google Docs does not know. Let's see, what font is this? It's called Elephant, and it looks how it sounds. Like it's all bold. Bold is not an option. It's already bold. It's like a serif font, but like kind of circusy. Like
Yeah.
it's
Like
a bit
almost
weird.
Broadway-ish or something.
Broadway-ish, yep, It's like the Broadway font, but with serif, whereas I think that one's the sans serif. So it's unreadable. I'm going to be changing the font at this time so I can read it with my eyes because I respect myself. I used to think that fonts meant something,
Yeah, totally.
and they don't. I put this in Arial. I'm actually going to do it in Times because that's what is easiest for me to read. Okay.
Yes, I agree.
Okay, and I'm also going to do just even 1.15 spacing. Let's go for the full 1.5. Okay.
Ooh.
So
okay.
Stop me at any time. I'm talking a lot already. Just stop me at any time. So the first thing on this page, after bracket, insert your own title here and bracket, is a list of 10 characters, both with a 2 to 3 word like essentialist description. Like one of them says quiet gay guy. Okay, and that's who that character is. So everyone loves a cast of characters.
There's Kevin again. What the fuck did Kevin do to you guys?
Dude,
that
Kevin
you hated
was
him so much.
It says Kevin Adams, white boy loser. And you guys might remember us roasting this kid, Kevin, from our high school, who was like kind of just like, I think he was just a little bit annoying sometimes. And we were like, fuck that guy.
He's dead to me.
He's dead to me. The title of this file is Road Trip. Probably I changed that when I started archiving my works, and insert your own title here like does not describe anything. It won't help me remember what's in this file, but I guess Road Trip at one point was helpful to me. I'm gonna start reading, Leela, unless you have any final words before we hit the road.
I do really like the it's very Shakespeare-esque, the description that let's introduce the characters and here's like
At the top.
a tiny description. Yeah.
It's like, they do that on, or at least I've seen it on like scripts, I guess, so that you know like who to cast or something like that.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm just gonna get started.
Okay.
Keelia McDaniel slumped against a locker after one particular unfortunate journalism class. Dorian looked pitifully upon her as she gathered her book bag from within her locker but said nothing. Keelia was a pretty girl, tall, with long blonde brown hair, glasses, and light freckles. As she spoke, she displayed newly straightened teeth after enduring 5 years of braces. Sound like anyone you know.
Seems very specific.
We're gonna meet. We've met this character before, and you better believe we're gonna meet her again. I didn't hear the phrase self-insert until I was like 27 years old.
And
but
then
I've
you're
been
like,
doing it all my life. In honor of the Register's 20th anniversary, we're all going to Washington, D.C. for a few days. The entire next issue is going to be called Washington, D.C. in the Eyes of a New Yorker. We even have to tour the Washington Post factory. They headed down the main hall together, Keelia ranting and Dorian listening, as it always was. They exited Harrison J. Thompson High School and headed down the sidewalk. Maybe my parents won't let me go, Keelia reasoned. She held up the permission slip that, having her parents sign it, would allow her to take a car trip with some select people from her journalism class. The 10 students going were picked randomly from a hat, and Keelia was unhappy with who she was going with. She said, I am unhappy with who I am going with, except Andy. He's cool. But even me and Andy could never possibly stick this out together. Dorian gave Keelia a look and said simply, my condolences. Keelia and Dorian, it's like really hard to say both of those names. Keelia is actually quite hard to say.
Keelia is not a good name.
It's really bad, but you're going to see this name come up again too, because I was obsessed with this name, Keelia.
You made it up?
A couple different characters.
Yeah.
I probably found it on babynames.com, which has names from all throughout history and all over the world in like many different languages. So this doesn't mean it's a good name for me in this story. Keelia tried as hard as she could to present the trip as a dangerous and risky activity. Her parents responded in the following manner. Oh, baby, what a wonderful idea. You've never been to DC, have you? Yes, you have. Oh, no, wait. Maybe that was Bradley. Yes, it was your brother we took. It's wonderful there, much more wonderful than here. Maybe you'll see the president. Mrs. McDaniel ran off in an excited frenzy. How much is this going to cost me? Mr. McDaniel crossed his arms and frowned. Keelia referred to the permission slip for this information. She said, we're all riding in the back of Mr. Burke's truck, so no transportation cost. But the back of a truck can't be safe, can it? No, it cannot. No school would let this happen.
What the hell?
Mr. McDaniel shook his head but gestured for Keelia to continue, which she did. And Mr. Burke is suggesting that we only stop at hotels. Now, having boys in the room next door can't be proper, can it? Boys? Asked Mr. McDaniel. Keelia leapt at the opportunity. Yeah, loads. Well, 4. Which boys? Asked Mr. McDaniel. Andy. Yeah, Alex Troy, you know his mother. Okay, then there's Kevin Johnson. He's an idiot. He's too stupid to use a combination lock. And I wasn't judging Daddy. He's really like that. Zach, I think he's like friends with my friends. I don't know, Dad. I can't be best friends with everyone at school. Sorry. And Matt Thomas, yeah, the football guy. Well, Keel, I know you. You'd never be interested in football guys or people you don't know. Or idiots. And I have no doubt in my mind that your and Andy's relationship is purely platonic. But Keelia racked her brain for another excuse. I'll need a load of money for food. I think we can spare a couple bucks for you to see our nation's capital. And are you going to be missing any school? Keelia displayed a sad face. A little. You don't want that, do you, Daddy? Danny.
Don't say it like that.
I can't not anymore.
I know.
Mr. McDaniel smiled kindly. The title of Daddy was a weakness for him, but on Keelia's part, it backfired. You can afford to miss 3 days. But you do want to go, don't you? Keelia glanced around for an idea of why she shouldn't want to go. If she told her dad she didn't want to go because she didn't like the people she was with, he would make her go anyway and tell her to stop being so judgmental. So she responded hesitantly with the ever-appropriate, yeah. So how do you feel having met what I assume is our protagonist, Keelia McDaniels? Not a self-insert.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I do think Keel is like a cute nickname, but also Keelia, the way her name is spelled is a lot like how my name is spelled.
It's true.
And I go by Leals, but my parents never called me that. But anyway.
Hers is spelled so much worse than yours.
It is. There's too many I's.
It's Keila. Keelia.
Yeah. If we took away that first I, then it would be like exactly like my name with a K. And
I would still pronounce it Kelia.
Kelia. Yeah. Keelia.
There's Keely, the girl from what is it, like Phil of the Futures.
Keely.
Don't you triple Keely me?
Yes, Keely. I loved
Yeah.
her. Allison Michalka, baby, from Allie and AJ.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, do you think she lives in Northern Virginia? That's got to be the...
No, she lives in New York City or New York State.
Oh, I see.
Washington, D.C. in the eyes of a New Yorker
I
is
see.
the issue of their newspaper that they're writing.
3 days of school? I mean, I went on school trips, but
Yeah.
not 3-day long school trips.
I'll admit this is an extraordinarily tenuous premise. Like, none of this adds up. None of this tracks. Like, you're not riding to D.C. from New York and back in your teacher's pickup truck, in the back of their pickup truck. Like, you're not doing that. You're not
That's crazy.
going to spend, like, a week on the road. Like, random students selected from a hat. No, we're not doing that either. Like, none of this holds.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see what shenanigans ensue for dear
Okay.
Keelia. Keels.
Well,
Keels
just
for
you wait.
reals. Okay.
Next section. Samuel Troy was excited. This must be said so bluntly because, sorry, I'm just laughing thinking about what happens next because I skimmed through this earlier. Because Sam showed no actual signs of being excited. He showed no actual signs at all of anything out of the ordinary. Samuel himself didn't look at all out of the ordinary. He had sandy blonde hair, was 5 feet 10 inches, and hadn't had a pimple a day in his life. Well, really, Samuel being 17 and not having had a pimple a day in his life was rather out of the ordinary, but he chose not to view it like that. At least he didn't have a face full of zits, parentheses, his sister called it pizza face. Okay, that's very mean.
So mean.
Sam walked into his apartment in the same light, casual manner as he always did after school. He kissed his younger sister and mother on the cheek, as he always did in greeting. He got himself a Coke and sat on the couch in front of the TV, as he always did to unwind after a hard day's work at school. And unwind is, for some reason, in quotes. like I made that phrase up. Sam said or did nothing out of the ordinary until his father came home from work at 5 o'clock and asked, "Anything happened today in school, sport?" At which point he answered, "Yes, Dad." Mr. Troy stopped short. This was an unusual answer. "Well," he prompted, setting down his briefcase. Sam cleared his throat. "I have been selected to go with some students from my journalism class on a trip to Washington, D.C. May I?" This was also unusual. The noise of the pots and pans clanging in the kitchen seemed to conflict with Mr. Troy's thinking because he excused himself to go to his study, promising Samuel that he'd get back to him. During dinner, Sam reminded his father of the trip. "Yes, I know," his father answered, as though it were the 10th time. Oh, sorry. "Yes, I know," his father answered, as though it were the 10th time, not the second time, that Sam had brought up the subject. "I've decided that you may go if you will pay for it." Sam nodded his head in agreement. "That's fair. Thank you, Dad." Mrs. Troy sneezed.
Okay.
So what are you getting from this new section?
It seems like a very strict household. Is that sort of the vibe? Is mom sick? I don't. Does mom have sneeze cancer? I don't know.
I think that, if nothing else, I'm trying to convey how ordinary Sam's life is.
Okay. Very boring.
He's
Okay.
just a regular guy.
He's just a regular old dude. Okay.
So I'm going to scroll back to the top.
Okay.
And so Keelia is described as a smart spaz, which we
Okay.
do not say the word spaz anymore,
No.
but just that's what it says. I haven't seen a lot of evidence for either of those things. And then it says Samuel Troy in my little cast of characters is what I'm looking at. It says quiet gay guy.
Yes.
I probably planned for that to be a bigger reveal later, but I
Yes.
don't think I got that far because I forgot to mention that this document is, I think, 28 pages long, 27
Okay.
pages long. We will not be reading all of it today. Okay, next section. Jasmine Atgar ripped up her permission slip and threw it in the garbage. A freshman nearby stopped, frightened, when she spotted Jazz ruthlessly destroying the piece of paper. But Jazz just
scared.
flipped her long, dark hair over her shoulder and strode in the opposite direction.
Not another
That's the
hair
whole
flip.
Jazz intro. Not the hair flip. So Jazz's description in my cast of characters says insane burnout. I think this is a good time to describe to you where I'm sure this came from. I feel like the media that I was replicating in a lot of these is so unsubtle, like that 70s show one that we covered a couple months ago with Haley.
Yeah.
That was so unsubtle. And what are you getting a vibe for what this might be based on?
Just with like it's like Breakfast Club or Mean Girls.
Yes. It's Breakfast Club.
Breakfast Club.
I went through a phase where I just kept writing Breakfast Club because I lived in such a little homogenous bubble. We've read my pieces on the show before about like, oh my God, those preps over there and those stoners over there, and we're just the weird ones. Yes. And so I was like, what if people still had to talk to each other even though they were different? And that was my idea during this phase of my author career.
Hey, I mean, it's fueled many a teen or a high school movie.
It's true.
What if we're different but kind of the same?
Yeah. Yes. So, so I think that Jasmine Atgar, who rips up her permission slip and is described as the insane burnout, is directly based on John Bender from Breakfast Club.
Show Dick some respect.
Okay. Yep, that makes sense.
Except for I was like, what if feminism? Casey Thomas stomped through the door. Yo, Dalton, he called, flinging his backpack onto the ground. Casey was tall, macho, and reasonably attractive, with pleasant brown hair and pleasant brown eyes.
Oh,
Casey's
so pleasant.
Casey's pleasant 20-year-old brother came in from the den and high-fived Matt. Wait, who's Matt? Hey, how's it going with the chillins? Dalton often referred to people younger than him as chillins, chillin being the singular. Supposedly, the word was a derogative of the word children. Dalton was referring to Casey's peers, even though he was only 3 years older. Good, Casey said. Anything happen? Well, Casey said, some people from my journalism class are going to Washington, D.C., and I want to go. Can I? Dalton crossed his arms. This better not be conflicting with any of your games. You know that I hate it when you ask to do things when you have football. Your football is important to the both of us now, isn't it? Yeah, Dalton, Casey responded. I don't have any games this weekend. A grin spread across Dalton's face as he playfully gave Casey a noogie. Well then, sure, whatever. And you and Dana can have the house to yourself for a whole weekend, Casey said, raising his eyebrows. Yeah, said Dalton. His grin widened. Cool.
All right, so this is a classic older brother as the guardian.
Sure.
Okay.
It's giving like The Outsiders.
I don't think I know what that is. I'm sorry.
The Outsiders, the novel by S.E. Hinton, and the film starring, just name a hot guy from the 80s.
Oh, okay.
But it's about this.
Nicolas
It's
Cage.
about. He's not in that movie.
Weren't sure though.
But he was in the sequel movie, and that is called something else.
Oh,
There's a
wow.
sequel. Yeah, there's a sequel to Outsiders, and I forgot what it's called, and he's in that movie.
Okay. Who's the hot guy from the
Rumblefish.
80s?
Rumblefish. Remembered.
Rumblefish. Okay.
Yep. Anyway, it's about, I think Patrick Swayze plays the oldest brother, Derry.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I forget who plays Soda Pop, the middle brother. And then there's
Soda
Pony
Pop.
Boy, the baby brother.
Oh my God, is that where Pony Boy comes from?
Yeah, Stay Gold Pony Boy. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah. I reread that pretty recently, actually. So it's all fresh. I still haven't rewatched the movie, though. That's why I don't know who plays Soda Pop. So we're assembling our cast of characters. We're getting introductions. I almost feel like there needs to be heist music playing behind this, when you're like assembling your
Meet
crew.
Casey.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Who's next? Wait, what kind of teen? I'm putting this in like air quotes. What kind of teen have we not encountered yet?
Let's see, like a super bookish type, right?
I think that we are due for a smart character, but it described Keelia as smart, which I still have not seen evidence for.
I forgot. didn't get like a nerdy vibe from her though. Like, so you
Not
have
at
like
all.
let's see, you already did regular white guy. A black character.
A person of color. I bet we're gonna
Anyone
get
of
one. I bet we're gonna get one, and I bet it's gonna be a Latina girl because it almost always is in my books.
Tina and the Latinas.
Yeah. All right, let's see. Adrienne Charday walked up the steps into her nice, quaint house located just outside of Manhattan. I did not know what outside of Manhattan was. When I wrote this, I did not know. It was pleasant there. It was quiet and loud.
Was it pleasant?
Calm and active. It was away from the intensity of the heart of New York, but still close enough to be considered part of the city. The city goes, I think, quite past the edges of Manhattan.
Yeah.
Adrienne was petite, quiet, and well-mannered. She had short brown hair, a quiet nature, and a polite smile. Far
Okay.
from most people at Harrison J. Thompson High School, she didn't enjoy being wild or crazy or doing anything remotely different from everyone else. Adrienne never really thought this precise sentiment, or else she would have realized it was a contradiction. Adrienne quickly and silently slipped upstairs and locked herself in her room, relieved she hadn't run into her father, or her mother for that matter. The room around Adrienne seemed to be closing in on her as she made a rather important decision. Then she pulled a paper from her backpack and did something she had never done before. She forged her father's signature.
Oh my God. Do you ever do that?
Oh, yeah, all the time. I was
Yeah.
very good at both my parents' signatures. What about you?
Yeah, I've done it before. My mom's signature is super easy because she usually would just do like her initials, SCH, like in a loopy cursive font that was really easy. So when you just, I mean, as parents, I'm just saying, parents, if you don't want your kid to forge your signature, you should like not just use initials, even though it's super easy.
Yeah,
It's-
I think my kids would have a hard time forging mine because
Yeah.
I do kind of do the whole name, but I do some of the letters lazy, but in like a consistent way.
My handwriting is so specific and specifically like chaotic and weird and bad. I just don't, I mean, like I do, my R is different every time. Like it's crazy.
Yeah, I feel you. My dad did the just the letter. His name's Stephen Kann, and he would do ST wah 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 K wah wah wah. And he
easy.
also this is a dad thing in my experience. Tell me if your dad did this. I have only seen dads do this. Tell me if you do this and you're not a dad. He wrote in all caps all the time.
Yes. Oh my God, my dad did
Does
too.
your dad does that?
Yes. Like I could tell like which of my parents like wrote our note from like the Tooth Fairy or Santa based on that. Like 'cause my mom had
Caps or
this
no
like
caps?
very extra flourishy handwriting, and then my dad had just wrote in all caps, but then like when it wasn't the beginning of a sentence, he just wrote in smaller caps.
Yeah, my mom has very like precise economical Catholic school handwriting, and I love it. My grandma was the one with like the very luxurious handwriting, and my brother a couple times had to text a picture of a letter he wrote to me so that I could translate it from her like sprawling cursive.
My Nana writes completely slanted. Like she writes in cursive slanted.
Damn.
And
That's intense. You have to hold the paper different.
Yeah, everybody's like always like never can understand what she
You have to, like,
writes,
hold it
but I'm
sideways.
like, I get
It's
it.
an
I
optical
understand.
illusion.
Yeah, for whatever reason, somebody told you should write like that. You know, It's
Yeah.
fine.
Good for you.
Good for
All
you.
right. Andy
All right.
Ender rode his bike into his garage and put down the kickstand. In order to avoid being one of the many people contributing to air pollution, he had not asked for a car for his 16th birthday, but a bike. It was a good bike, 10-speed, and had a peace sign-shaped bell. It was reasons like this that he was considered to be a bit of a hippie. He looked like it, too, with his long brown hair and his tie-dyed shirts, tees with band logos, and black Converse. Auntie walked into his living room to find his parents making out on the couch. They were seriously, mega mondo, uber passionately making out.
Can you say
The
that sentence
small-
with a California accent, please?
They were seriously, mega mondo, uber passionately making out. Keanu Reeves, is that you?
Keanu?
Point Break is playing at the Bird as we speak.
Damn.
As we speak.
What a tragedy that we're missing.
I know. The small living room / kitchen looked slightly neglected like always, and there was a Boston CD playing in the background. Andy strolled casually over to his oblivious parents and handed his dad, being the one on top, a permission slip and a pen. "Sign, please," Andy said. His father complied hastily, and Andy took the slip and pen back. "Thank you," he said as he courteously left the room to his parents. "Please, by all means, continue." His parents didn't need to be told.
Wow, horny hippies.
Yeah, it says, okay, so Adrian, we don't know this yet, but Adrian was supposed to be the quiet genius.
Okay.
So you were right that we needed a smart girl.
Yes.
Andy is described in my cast of characters as a freaky hippie. It seems like his parents are the ones getting freaky.
Yeah.
That's fine.
I kind of like, he seems like probably he has the best home life so far, honestly.
Well, but the small living room / kitchen looked slightly neglected like always.
I got so focused on that Boston CD. There was a Boston CD
The
playing
vibe
in the
is great
background.
in here.
Yes. By the
There
way,
always is.
do you know CDs, physical media, it's like kind of coming back into style? Like the youths, they want to buy CDs now. And in fact, we recently got a new car, and Jason, it has a CD player in it.
Interesting.
Isn't that crazy? It's coming back. Physical media.
Damn, that's interesting. I always just have to tell myself, like, they feel about CDs the way I feel about books, because I can't dream of wanting to have music physically in my life again. But I do really feel that way about books. Like, I want them.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
yeah, I guess that's
some
true.
people feel that about CDs. You guys feel that way about records?
Yeah, we do.
Mm-hmm.
When he said permission slip and a pen, I was like, a weed pen? That was like my first thought. Isn't that crazy?
Oh, yeah.
Didn't exist.
Well, I'm sure they're stoners. Does it say that, or does it just imply it heavily?
It's got to be implied heavily. First of all, this guy's got long brown hair and a tie-dye shirt, okay?
Yeah.
What is he, sober? No. Tees with band logos and,
That could be
and
anyone.
black Converse.
I think I'm just describing my friend David, who keeps coming on the podcast. This is not a description of David Nix. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That's so
It's
funny.
exactly what he looked like in high school.
I just can't picture him with like long hair. I can't picture him like this at all, except for the
Oh my god,
flip-flops.
I have to show you a picture. Leela, there's this picture that is so there's no way I haven't shown it to you before. Okay, anyway, that's okay. Follow up on the David thing while
Put a
I'll be
pin in
sending you
that.
this picture. I'll post it on the Instagram too, because
Yeah,
it's a
follow
good
us on
picture.
Patreon to
I
see the
always
picture of
loved it.
David. Yeah.
Okay, who's next? We're not done.
Oh
We're
my
still
God.
introducing our gang. Okay. Carrington Cummins stepped out of her
Prep.
stepped out of her Mercedes convertible with much more grace than her sister Emily on the opposite side. Her reserved parking spot was conveniently located right in front of her building. Carrington hurried Emily to the apartment complex and into the elevator in an excited frenzy. The poor 8th floor button was mercilessly abused during the 14 seconds it took for the doors to shut and the lift to start moving. "Watch it, Carrie," cried Emily, as Carrington grabbed her arm in an attempt to speed up as the elevator door opened. The door slammed behind them as they ran into the hallway. The Cummins owned the entire floor, so there were no worries about acting like a freak. If there were reason to worry about acting like a freak, Carrington probably would have strutted down the hall dominantly in front of her sister, flipping her layered strawberry blonde hair with her manicured nails. But there was no reason to worry. Carrington slowed to a stop and yelled as loud as she could, "Mom!" A voice came from the kitchen. "In here, darling." Carrington, abandoning Emily, gripped her backpack and scurried into the kitchen. Miss Cummins was standing over the counter making a margarita. Ever since she and Carrington's father had gotten a divorce, Miss Cummins drank at least 4 alcoholic beverages a day.
Gasp! That's not that much for an alcoholic. Okay, it's fine.
As her daughters entered the room, Carrington grinning broadly and Emily rubbing her shoulder, Miss Cummins wriggled her fingers in a wave and grinned. "Hi, girls. What's shakin'?" Carrington pulled from her bag a piece of paper. She asked her mother, "Can I go to D.C.?" Miss Cummins smiled. "Sure, honey. I'll lend you my credit card." Must be nice to be Carrington.
Yeah, jeez. Man, when my family was, first of all, I want to say this has got to be an insert for your mom. No.
My mom, but okay, it is my mom, but I have always said that my mom, when Mean Girls came out, was very much like Amy Poehler from Mean Girls.
Because this is what that is giving. This has that Amy Poehler from Mean Girls mom energy.
I probably wrote this the year Mean Girls came out in 2004 when I was 13.
Year.
That was probably the very year that I wrote this.
Yeah. Carrington, you remember how you said your parents were briefly extremely rich?
Yes.
So like I had that happen when my dad became partner at his at the insurance company he works for.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and we moved to this really like nice neighborhood in the West End of Richmond. And the neighborhood was called Carrington, and it was like a 3-story house. We've never had a house like that since, but this was before. But it was a 3-story house with like a full basement that had like a full kitchen and like a full bathroom and a bedroom, and then like a huge like area to hang out. I got fingered on that couch so many times.
Very nice.
Anyway, yeah, Carrington. It's the right vibe. I don't know what. It's something about that name. It just sounds rich,
pretentious. Yeah,
pretentious.
My neighborhood when we were rich was Balmoral Heights.
Ooh, Balmoral, like where the royals go on vacation in Scotland.
You know.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right. Who are we missing? A person of color.
Let's see. We already had a prep. Okay. Is this the person of color? Oh yes,
person of color.
She's not Latina. Johnson?
No, I think she's probably black. She also plays basketball.
Okay. Well, it happens.
Okay, let's just say that I think every character in this is a stereotype. So let's meet one more.
That's kind of like the point. Yeah. Okay.
Derisha Johnson thought she was an excellent basketball player. Derisha also thought she was adored by all and bound to be the first black woman president of the United States of America. Would you pronounce this Derisha or Derisha? Derisha.
When I first thought it was a Latino character, I thought it was Dericia, which is much prettier.
Should we call her Dericia? It's so many syllables though.
I know. I think it's probably Derisha, if we're being honest.
Derisha. It's Dericia, like Alicia.
I think it's like Doritos, but Derisha.
Okay. Here's what Derisha was. A tall, woven-haired, I love New York African-American teenager with a big butt, an annoying sister, and a tendency to find the party in every aspect of life. Well, She was adored by most, at least. Her father loved her mother loved her, and her sister, well, Derisha always figured that the two didn't like each other, but they loved each other. She assumed that that's how most sisters were. Derisha and Tamira were a constant challenge to each other. One was always pushing the other further until finally someone surrendered and they moved on to a new activity. Tamira was 11 months younger than Derisha, and to the girls' dismay, they were often mistaken as twins.
Well, they're Irish twins.
Yeah, they are. Mr. Johnson doted upon the two girls like he had all the money and heart in the world, which he didn't, and he didn't. There was no doubt in Teresha's mind that her father would let her go with her journalism class on this awesome adventure. So the moment he got back from golfing, she asked him, "Daddy, can I go to Washington, D.C. for school?" Mr. Johnson gave her a long look up and down. "You're kidding, right?" This wasn't the anticipated answer. No. Placing her basketball on the ground and pulling her braids into a ponytail, Derisha prepared herself for an argument. These she was good at, but before going into battle mode, she tried flattery again. "But why not, Daddy? You said I should see my own nation's capital, and you know everything." After a moment of silence, Derisha decided that this last line was probably going too far. "Sir?" "Who's going?" Mr. Johnson asked. Derisha thought before she spoke. "A few select people from my journalism class." "Boys?" Derisha looked for a way out and found none. "Yeah, Daddy, boys," she surrendered. Mr. Johnson wagged his finger. "No, boys." "But Daddy, don't you but Daddy me, young lady?" "No, boys. That's final." Derisha considered her options. She decided to go with, "You liked Mr. Burke at Parents' Night, didn't you?" Mr. Johnson nodded. "He seemed like a fine teacher. Better than your science teacher, anyway." "Well, he's the teacher chaperoning." "He's doing this alone? That's insane." Dad, Mr. Burke is very strict about his no PDA rule. If I wanted to be getting busy with a boy, Mr. Johnson winced, it would be much easier to do it here than out on the road with everyone, really. No boys, Jerusha's father repeated. The two moved their argument to the kitchen. Mrs. Johnson stood over the stove, stirring pasta, her hair pulled back and an apron tied sloppily around her waist. Daddy, I want to do this so bad, Jerusha pleaded. No boys. Mr. Johnson was persistent. Mrs. Johnson spoke up. Oh, let the girl have her fun. A while outside this crazy city would do her some good. Okay, honey. Mr. Johnson grabbed his wife around the waist from behind and kissed her shoulder. Ew, Jerusha stated. Her father snapped, hey, hush up. Go to your room and be thankful you have a mother who sticks up for you. As Jerusha left the room, her mother winked at her through Mr. Johnson's arms.
I like that even in her head she describes her dad as Mr. Johnson.
So she's labeled, Jerusha is labeled in my cast of characters as a good-natured party girl. Good for her.
Okay, yeah, good for her. That's not what I got from this at all, but but it built. We'll find out later.
We'll find more, but we won't because we're. I can't believe how many characters this is.
Wait, you have to. That was all of them. That's not.
No, there's two more.
We need. Come on, we can keep going. We have to meet Zach and Kevin.
Okay, we're going to. Okay. Zach practically sprinted to his mother's office. When the elevator had reached the correct level, Zach was still panting and wiping sweat off his forehead. He hoped that the gel in his hair wouldn't melt from his body heat. This morning, it had been unusually easy to train his short blonde hair into the spiky mess he adored so much. Okay, we're getting a lot from this. Hello, Zachary, one of his mother's coworkers greeted him. Zach didn't recognize the guy. Oh, I did like an old lady voice, but that's fine. Zach didn't recognize the guy as anyone special, so he just waved and sped past. Zachary, please! Zach recognized the lady as Deborah Ryder, his mother's frighteningly tall, red-headed coworker who had been over to Zach and his mom's house for multiple dinners. Too many dinners, Zach thought, as Ms. Ryder grabbed his arm and forced him to stop. This is an office building. Civilized people work here. Honestly, I don't think my mother would have allowed if I had dashed through her office in this manner. Well, actually, Miss Ryder slowly considered what she was saying. My mother didn't work. She was raised properly, see? Yeah, sorry, Miss R. I have sweet news, and I'm all hyped up because I had gym last period, and wow, I'm rambling, and I have sweet news, Zach gushed. This is undiagnosed ADHD, the character. Yes. Sweet news, Miss Ryder repeated. She removed a pencil from over her ear and chewed thoughtfully on the eraser. A genuinely puzzled look fell upon her face as she held up a finger and said, No, don't tell me. Zach stayed silent, mainly because he didn't quite know what he wasn't supposed to be telling her and didn't want to accidentally blab. She said after a minute, sweet news means good news, does it not? I should have been doing a different voice.
I thought she was going to be guessing the news. No, she's still, it's too crazy slang.
Old people don't know what sweet means.
Come on, sure they do. I mean,
Zach
I have some
almost laughed
sweet
out
news.
loud.
What do you think that would mean?
It's about candy. Zach almost laughed out loud. Yeah, good one, Miss Ryder. Miss Ryder resumed walking down the hall. Proceed, Zachary, but slowly, and keep in mind that my eyes are everywhere.
Queen, icon.
Zach continued ahead with this eerie thought resting in his brain. Finally, he found his mother exactly where she was whenever Zach came into the office, pouring herself a cup of coffee. Same.
Aww.
Except for I work from home, so it's all my own coffee. I don't get a coffee stipend.
Well, the coffee they give you at the offices is just god awful.
It depends where you work. If you work for a rich
true.
company, they have nicer coffee.
Oh my god, that's so true, but isn't this a school?
Oh, yeah. No, he ran from school to her office, right?
Oh, from school
This is
to
an
her
office building.
It
Yeah.
could be a nice company. Okay.
Hey, hon. Miss pulled her son into a hug as she took a long gulp of black coffee. What's going on? Zach told her about Mr. Burke's plan for the exciting journey to the other big city on the East Coast. There's only two. Well, that's a great idea, babe. His mother was ecstatic for him. I can't wait. This will be so good for you. Miss Lindner pulled Zach into another hug. Oh, my baby, off to see the world. Mom, Zach choked out while attempting to discreetly free himself from his mother's grasp. From New York to D.C. is hardly the entire world. But I bet he's going to change on this journey.
Okay, so which one is he?
He is the, scrolling back to the top, typical punk guy. And then in parentheses, I wrote Alex in a nutshell.
Okay, because of the hair gel.
Well, I guess punk. Yeah, I guess hair gel is punk. This guy, Alex, though, says Alex in a nutshell, and that was a guy I knew. So that actually helps me, I think, focus this in on this guy. I guess I'm going to have to bleep this character's last name because it's this real guy's last name. And this guy, Alex, I dated him, like, quote unquote, when I was in 6th grade. He took me on one date and gave me one kiss. And that was, like, very intense for that age. And I was friends with him, like, for the next couple years, I think. So I think that homes this in exactly on 2004.
Okay.
All right, there's still one more character to meet.
The final
I'm scrolling so
character.
far down. We've met so many people. I mean, what if I quizzed you on them? What if I quizzed you on them?
Honestly, I'd love that.
Kevin Adams ran into his living room where his parents were watching TV. They showed no signs of intelligent thought as Kevin asked, "Can I go to DC for a few days with my journalism class?" "No," his parents responded together. Actually, that answer was probably the result of an intelligent thought. And that's the whole Kevin section. So you don't have to worry about Kevin since his parents knew better than to trust him not hurt himself alone for a weekend. As of now, he will have no significant effect on the story or plot in any way, so forget he was mentioned.
All right. Okay. All right.
But he still is in my cast of characters as the white boy loser. I can't believe this.
Okay. All right.
So
now
who's
you
been your
should stop
favorite
sharing
so
your
far?
screen and then quiz me on these characters. I'm not joking. I'm want to do it.
Oh, wait, I can do this. Oh my god. What if I said like how many of them have brown hair?
Oh no.
Who forged her father's signature?
Kelia forged her father's signature. No.
Wrong. Oh,
I'm wrong.
You
It's the
said
next one.
no first though. You got a second try.
He did say no first. The second one after Kelia was I forgot all their names.
It was Adrian, and that was not the second one. Who is ordinary?
No. Oh my god. Now I remember all. Oh, this is a bad idea for me. Okay, can you just tell me what their names, each one's name is, like, and all? Okay.
I'm sending
ready.
it in the chat. No, I'm sending it in the chat.
Oh, okay. I was ready to write it down.
White boy loser. Aren't they all, you know? Okay, now I will quiz you.
All right, I'm ready.
Oh, wait, I accidentally pulled up the book I'm editing, and I was like, wait, this is good. What am I reading? Whose brother's name is Dalton?
Whoa. Okay. Brother's name is Dalton. It's got to be Andy.
Nope, it was Casey.
Fuck. Okay.
Whose dad said no boys?
No boys. That was Derisha.
Yes. Ding, ding, ding. They all of them have neglectful parents, I feel like. They're either overprotective or neglectful.
I think the boys are going to be the hardest for me, which is all typically true.
They blend together.
Yeah.
Who watched TV after school?
Watch TV after school. Like, whose parents? Or, like, who? Oh,
It was them.
That's the jock, and his name is... No. That's the normal guy. That's the Mr. Normal. And
Who?
that's Zach.
No, it was the normal guy. That's Samuel Troy.
It's the second guy! Fuck.
This is the stupidest game I've ever played. Whose mom got the final word?
Whose mom's... Say it again.
Whose mom gets the final word?
Okay. Gets the final word. Uh-oh. Derisha.
Yes.
Yes.
Who threw their permission slip away?
Oh, that's got to be... I'm taking it all back. Hold on. It's got to be... Yeah, it's Jazz, right?
It is Jazz. For the record,
Okay.
I sent these to Leela. I sent her the cast of characters without the, quote, insane burnout labels. What slang word did Miss Ryder not understand? Slang.
What slang word? That would be
Yes.
sweet.
Sweet. Well done. All right. You got a couple wins. You got a couple losses. That probably feels like enough of that game, right?
Yeah, probably to the listeners. I want to keep going, but it's fine. We'll do this in our own time. Off the pod.
I'm not going to read the rest of it. I'm going to tell you how far in we are, though.
Okay.
We are on page 10 of 27.
Okay.
So I'm just going to read a little bit more.
Yeah.
The next day at school, Mr. Burke, the journalism teacher, asked to meet with the 10 selected students after class. The bell rang and the students gathered next to Mr. Burke's desk. "I hope you have all brought your permission slips," Mr. Burke said. 8 permission slips appeared and were handed to Mr. Burke, who asked, "Where's yours, Kevin?" Kevin looked sheepishly at the chalkboard. "My parents wouldn't let me go. I might get hurt, or lost, or dead." Mr. Burke smiled kindly and excused Kevin, who ran out of the door in a sort of embarrassed rush. "And Jasmine, your
did he
parents
run
phoned
away?
me." That Kevin guy runs away in the fairy tale too. Do you remember? Maybe, maybe this guy at my school would like do an annoying thing and then run away.
He's an eloper. That's what they call
Kevin,
it.
if you're listening, reach out to me. You know who you are.
We'd love to have you on.
"And Jasmine, your parents phoned me. They apparently never received a permission slip, but were informed of the trip by Zachary's mother. You have permission to go." Jazz blew a bubble with her gum. Mr. Burke explains about the trip. Everyone left except for Andy, who walked back to Mr. Burke's desk and commented, "This trip is a recipe for disaster." Mr. Burke looked up questioningly from his work. Andy stood with his arms crossed and a serious look on his face. Mr. Burke eagerly prompted, "Andrew?" The random way in which these students were chosen ended in one person being picked from each social group in the school. Major conflict.
Totally
Oh,
major.
Conflicting cliques, said Mr. Burke. "Yes." Mr. Burke smiled pleasantly. "I have no idea what you're talking about, Andrew."
You're telling me he didn't pick him out of a hat after all.
He picked one from each clique on purpose.
Get a life, Mr. Burke. I mean, I'm sorry, but...
It's truly so embarrassing to relive this interpretation of the world. Like, the fact that I ever thought about things this way is such a nightmare.
But it was like this fantasy version of school that you really like wanted it to be. Like, because things make so much sense when they just have clear labels on them.
Yeah,
But the
that's
truth
true.
is that no one person is just one thing. It's just not.
We contain multitudes.
And also sometimes nothingness. Yeah. And I mean, I think
Like Kevin.
that's true. No, Kevin's not the nothing boy. That was
Samuel, also a different nothing boy.
different nothing boy. No, though he's gay. He's not nothing. He's gay.
Oh my god, he's a quiet gay guy.
Now, which one was the the nothing boy? Was it Zach? The one who's just a white guy.
Samuel. Samuel's just a white guy. Well,
I
they're
thought-
all kind of just white guys.
Which one's the quiet gay?
That's Samuel.
Oh my god. So I feel like I've just proved the point that people can be more than one thing. But
There
it's
are
so...
so many characters in this fucking nothing has happened. I mean, okay, I will say it's a great practice in characterization. You know, great practice in characterization.
And characterization is fun. I always loved that shit. Like writing it.
I would never dream of introducing this many characters in this way. That is so bananas.
It is totally like heist movie. Meet Samuel. A quiet gay.
Let's see. I'm just going to scroll randomly. We're about halfway through. Okay, they go. They're in the truck. I'm a very good driver. This teacher is just taking these children away.
It's pretty crazy. It's just like consensual kidnapping from parents, pretty much.
And there's 10 of these kids, or 9, I guess, because fuck Kevin. And truck beds are not, I think, like that big.
No, they're not. And there's no way to strap anybody in, and he's like driving on the highway from New York to DC.
That might have been legal at the time. I feel like it's not legal anymore, but it was in my life for sure legal.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
No, it definitely was. Well, maybe we just broke the law a lot. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I drove in a truck when I was homecoming prince. When I was not the homecoming princess, the drama club homecoming princess.
Mm-hmm.
Back in high school. Nobody had a cool car, so I just stood in the back of somebody's truck.
Nice. That's drama, though.
Yeah, you know.
The girls are helping each other do their hair, but then the band gets away from them and it hurts somebody, and they're snipping at each other. What's so funny? You're oblivious to the fact that everyone thinks you're ridiculous. Oh God. Do you like my cheerleading? Do you like my hair? Do you like my shoes? Do you like my makeup? Talking about what their middle names are. This is good stuff. They get anti. Oh wait, who? Samuel speaks for the first time, and they all high five him. Should we stop at McDonald's? No, it's bad for you. Let's play a game. I want to play.
Oh, I thought you were
not
talking
us.
to me.
Let's play a game. I wish I had a good game. I should start reading lines and make you guess who says them.
Oh my God. Yes,
so
do
stupid.
it.
Lunchtime kiddos. If it says kiddos, that's Mr. Burke.
Yeah. Fair.
Does anything happen? Let's play a game happens like 8 pages later after they said, let's play a game the first time. Okay, so we're playing games. Sam was with another guy. Oh my God. I found the part where they out him.
Damn.
I know. Okay, and then this is the part where I just write down things that I think are funny for later. Okay, well that is insert your own title here.
I saw TGI Fridays.
Has good food. That's good for you. Do you ever go to TGI Fridays?
No. I did in high school for sure.
Yeah, me too. And like, no shade, wherever you want to eat. Leland and I just have the absolute pleasure of living very close to a lot of very delicious local restaurants. And ending up at a TGI Fridays would just be like random.
The last time I was there is because like an elderly relative gave me a gift card. You know?
Yes, I was about to say, Sean and I ended up at an Applebee's like last week because we had a $15 gift card, which is not enough.
No, that's the problem. Even these like chains that aren't that good are so expensive. Five Guys burgers and fries is a $15 burger now.
Ooh, that's
crazy.
Intense. Yeah, but you know, when I went to Applebee's, I got their just like chicken tenders and fries because I feel like that's the kind of place that has like the best chicken tenders, and they were delicious.
They were delicious.
They're so
okay,
good. Fucking love a chicken tender all my life.
Did you get honey mustard? You're weird
Always.
about
Always. No, I love honey mustard.
Yes.
When I was a kid, I was like a very picky eater, and I would order the chicken tenders and fries at every single restaurant all the time, no matter what. And there was like a couple restaurants in my life that didn't have chicken tenders and fries. And I one time wrote a letter to the manager of this restaurant that my dad took me to all the time, called Coastal Flats, which in retrospect was a very good restaurant that I had the opportunity to eat at for free a lot growing up. And all I did was get the fried shrimp and make a stink about no fried chicken.
That's really cute and funny that you wrote a letter to the manager as a kid.
He did nothing
so
about
you.
it.
Yeah. Not you that you would ask for a manager, but just like your instinct would be to write a strongly worded letter.
Yeah, I'm exercising my voice, you know.
Yes, it's my First Amendment right.
Oh my God, Leela, do you have any like last words about this before we wrap it up?
I don't think so. I had a great time. It did remind me of those types of movies, which are so simplistic and very unrealistic, but really fun. And because it's like what I was trying to say is like, it is just easy and fun, but I guess just it's natural that our brains just like are obsessed with labeling things, and it sucks for a lot of reasons. There's like, you know, but like, and it's not realistic, but it's satisfying.
Yeah, and I think like developmentally, especially when
Yeah.
you're like a kid like this, it kind of helps you figure stuff out.
Yeah. Yeah. And
I was
and
like,
I mean
what's going on here?
and
It's
being this black and white about things, the only result that can happen is that you find out that people aren't black and white like this. You know what I
Well,
mean?
there was one black character, so
Oh,
there's my diversity token.
I stand corrected.
Yeah,
Derisha
I am-
Johnson, basketball player.
Okay, so we had one queer kid and one kid of color, and that is diversity, you know? That's 2004 diversity for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we'll take it.
We have stoner representation. Isn't that good enough?
Yeah, there you go. I mean, there's always going to be a freaky hippie in Tina's stories.
Always. It's what I identified as at the time. And you better believe that the rest of this book, if I had continued writing it, would have gone on for them to all bare their hearts, become vulnerable with each other, and like forge some kind of understanding, you know, a greater understanding of themselves and their community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean that those types of stories are nice. Maybe I'll find Breakfast Club and watch it after this and try to not fall asleep on the couch again.
It's a lot more subtle than this that I wrote. Breakfast Club is a
Breakfast
lot more
Club. John Hughes is not known for his subtlety.
I know, but the bar's on the floor. It's not subtle. Leela, I would like for you to tell me if you think this is horny, sad, or just plain bad.
I don't think it's sad. I think but it's really not that horny.
Only, I think Andy's parents are the only horny ones.
That's true. A little bit horn in there. A little bit of horn. I just think, but it's just I guess I have to remember that you have always been just like a very strong writer. And so reading your stuff is not the same as reading other bad writing.
like,
you know what I mean?
The words look fine.
The words, the grammar, it's fine.
Yeah.
And it's, you know,
it's always been one of my strengths.
the story is just plain
Nonsense.
bad.
Just plain bad. Yeah. Yeah. I think that we should leave grammar out of our considerations
Yeah?
during
I guess
our
you're
rankings,
right.
unless the grammar is very bad and funny, and then you
Yes.
can include it.
My Immortal,
But
yeah.
if it's just readable grammar, that's a neutral thing. That's how I
Okay.
feel. Because we're here for content, baby.
But I really liked the content. It wasn't cringe to me. I'm just going to say it. It just wasn't that cringe to me. I had a great time.
I'm going to say just plain bad because you cannot
Yeah.
be naming characters. You cannot be introducing characters like this.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. Okay, so out of the 3, it's going to be a double just plain bad, I think.
Just
well, I don't know.
plain
Is that what you're going to
bad.
Is that what
Yes.
you're going to pick as well?
Absolutely.
Okay.
It's just plain bad.
But I kind of want to read more. but only together.
Really?
Yeah.
You want to read more?
I just think they just think it's fun.
We're not going to read more, bitch.
I think I just think this activity is fun.
It is
So.
fun. The activity of recording
Of
our
podcast.
I'm flattered. You came to that on your own. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm glad. I love you, bitch. Let's do more ussies. We're funny.
Okay. Yeah,
Maybe
let's
just
do it.
us.
Yeah, but like I don't know if I can bring more rap on. It's just not gonna happen. It's not a good idea.
Well, we'll give you time to recover, but we're gonna get it again. Everyone, write in. Tell us what you thought about Lil Lily last week because that was fun as hell.
Lil Lily on the track.
Any final words on this double plain bad?
No, I don't think so. I think it's a great peek into who I was just like this at the time too. I was obsessed with like labeling everybody into cliques, even though I knew like in reality that's not really how my school was. I wonder if it's still like that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, if it still feels like you need to be like putting yourself into boxes.
Yeah. I don't
Yeah.
know. Sure. I don't know. Yeah, if you're a teenager, write in. And do your homework. Or don't. Wink.
I'm trying to think. I guess I don't want teenage listeners because we talk about adult topics, but if you're out there.
If you're an 18 or 19-year-old listener, write in.
Yeah. I do wonder about the kids these days because they do seem to be like doing better than we did.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm proud of them.
Well, they're like self-aware.
They are self-aware
we were
in a way
never
that
self-aware.
Yeah. Anyway, that's it for Burn Before Reading.
Until next time, remember,
your cringe is part of you,
but only a small part of you.
Thanks for listening to Burn Before Reading.
Created by me, Christina Kann.
Hosted and produced by Christina Kann and me, Leela Hilton.
Logo designed by Michael Hardison. Follow him on Instagram at RoyGBivRVA or check out his work at wildlingpress.com.
Theme music by Sakura Wishes.
Find me online at Christina Kann.
And find me at Leels for Reels.
Follow the podcast on Instagram and Tumblr at BurnBeforePod.
Or feel free to give us an email at burnbeforepod@gmail.com.
Thanks for listening, friends.
See you next time.
Dave X Media.